All right, teammates, we are back once again. If this is your first time listening to the Move Swiftly podcast, welcome to the #1 show on innovative teamwork. Great to have you. To my regular listeners, you already know how I get down right to the point. And again, I have an absolutely, listen to me very carefully. You are about to be blown away by this man's story. Listen, Manuj, I listened to you earlier today. I listened to quite a few shows that you've been on just prepping for this. And one of the things that can be assumed when you're talking about AI, when you're talking about, being in technology and things like that, is that, it can be something that can be assumed that this is a person whose life was easy and they're trying to make everybody else's life really easy and things like that. But you have quite the background, you have quite the story, and I can't wait to dive into it too much. Before I make the intro too long, let me just let you introduce yourself to the audience and just kind of introduce yourself a little bit, and then we'll get into your story and how you built up such an incredible concept and how you have such a pulse on the AI world and how to use it in a way in which helps people better themselves. You have a concept and when it comes to that. So with all that, welcome to the show. And this is how
Thank you so much.
we keep it all the way organic, by the way. So
yeah,
and do your
excited
thing.
to be here, and thanks for that intro.
Mm-hmm.
To tell you a little bit about me, so I grew up in India, not in a very wealthy environment. I had a lot of challenges. Started working professionally at 15 while I was attending school. And I was working in a factory, earning $2 a day, working 12 hours a day. And that was a tough life, and wanted to change my life, wanted to do something better, because I got inspiration from some business magazines. I was flipping through these business magazines, and there were these stories of tycoons who made it big in spite of all the hardships they went through. And that inspired me that, hey, if these guys can do it, then I should be able to do it. But then I didn't know how to change my life, what to do about it.
Right.
And uh, I found that I needed to build some value, learn something valuable, and that is how I will be able to change my life. And so when I looked around, computers and internet were just coming out. Like, this is 1995,
Right.
and I was somebody who was already interested in technology, science. So I got into that, and I really loved it. I really fell in love with software, for programming and computers. And that's when I knew, okay, I will do this for the rest of my life. Um, uh, I didn't know where it is going to lead me, but
Right.
I found my passion. And the other thing which I found was, like, I really like impacting large number of people. So that with software you could do that. Like, you can write a line of code and copy it on like hundreds of computers, thousands of computers,
Right.
and it helps those people who are using your program, right? So
Mm-hmm.
all of this came together, and one thing led to another. I came to North America, uh, started helping tons of startups. Two startups went public. Their technology, I built their technology. Then I got a chance to work with Microsoft, IBM, T-Mobile, some very large corporations. So I saw how small businesses, they grow,
Right.
and I saw how large businesses, they keep getting bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, I was getting heavily into AI. So today I have 4 patents in artificial intelligence, wrote a couple of books on technology. I
Right.
have another podcast as well, which is one of the top 1% podcasts in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Throughout all this, like, I had episodes of, your life's ups and downs. So
Yeah, that's what
I
I
had
was gonna kind of ask you about because you said a lot there, and I want to make sure I slow you down to break
yeah.
everything down for a listener who may be going through certain things and may assume that stuff just happens overnight. It doesn't. All right. I want to make that very clear to you, listener. It does not happen overnight because when you came to North America, again, you're helping these startups and you're working 25 hours out of the day. All right. I said 25 hours of the day, not 24. You're working constantly. And I had heard you on some other shows how you talked about how that disrupted your family life, how it was difficult for you to see your kids, and how you were faced with some of these decisions that challenge all of us in terms of how do I continue to pursue what I love yet still be there, the family man that I want to be, and then help these startups that obviously going to require your, require your 100% attention. So kind of speak to that a little bit and how you
Yeah.
to find
Yeah.
that.
So in my personal life, I've had a lot of ups and downs in my personal life, even in my professional life. So I got married in India, where it's not customary to pick your own spouse, but I ended up falling in love with a girl, and she belonged to a different religion. So that was another layer of
Oh boy,
complexity.
here we go.
So
I didn't
yeah,
know you could go with that one, boy.
yeah. So it was quite a complex, thing for me to get married.
Mhm,
Once I got married, then a lot of differences between us came about,
mhm.
which were not apparent before the marriage, as it generally happens. And so that led to a very tough marriage, and broken relationships with my spouse, with my parents, with my family, and that led to almost a depression like scenario for me. So around 2012, I was almost suicidal. Like I didn't want to live anymore.
Oh my God.
And yeah, so as I was going through all this, I was working in artificial intelligence, with blockchain, with all these latest technologies, while I'm dealing with my own inner struggle. So I
Right.
went to see these psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists, but nothing really helped. What eventually helped was I found meditation. And meditation is
Oh man,
something
that's
that allows you to go inside,
yeah, that's awesome.
really understand your mind, how it creates your reality.
Yeah.
And so I, first of all, anybody listening who is going through anything in life,
Mhm.
even if they are not going through anything in life, I think meditation is something that should be almost mandatory for every human being,
Right.
right? So for me, I lived my life under stress for almost 4 decades of my life.
Hmm.
Now my sons are 12 and 14. So I make them meditate at this age, so
Hmm.
that you know life is gonna throw curveballs at you no matter what. But
Hmm.
once you start knowing you inside out, you are much better equipped to handle those curveballs. So it's very, very surprising to me that we teach our kids, maths, physics, science,
Hmm.
English, but we don't teach them how to understand themselves, how to communicate with other human beings, all of that. So
Right.
what I've learned in my
Can you
life is
kind of
I've
like,
just
can
yeah.
you sort of break that down a little further? Because we had a previous guest on the show and she teaches meditation, but she doesn't teach it in a way where you spend 4 hours a day, trying to get in there and, spend 4 hours a day basically meditate. She teaches it in a way where you may spend maybe 5 minutes every, 3 or 4 times a day. 5 minutes is focusing your spirit, focusing your goals, focusing on what do you want to do. And I think sometimes when people hear the term meditation, they think it's going to be something where they got to block out 4 or 5 hours. And you've just debunked the myth. She debunked the myth. So can you kind of speak to how you
Yeah.
teach that to young people as well, your
That's
kids?
a great question. See, meditation, in my opinion, first of all, is anything that disconnects you from the world. Okay, it allows you to
Oh,
focus
man,
on
talk to
yourself.
him. Yes.
Okay, so let's say you love basketball,
Mm,
and you go to the gym and you shoot 100 hoops, and during that period you just forget about everything else, and you are just there
mm-hmm,
with the basketball and the hoop. That's it. You could call that meditation.
mm,
Okay. I have my mentor. He loves motorcycle racing. So he says when he goes onto the course, and when he's going 100 miles an hour, that's his meditation.
mm-hmm,
Okay. So the idea here is that um, first of all, our life is controlled by our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind is very, very powerful. 90 to 95% of what we experience in life is controlled by subconscious mind, but most people have no idea what is happening in there. We live through our emotional response. But with meditation, when you start to quiet down your mind and you start to notice what are your thoughts, it's meditation basically is just watching your thoughts. What is happening in my thought?
Mm-hmm.
When you start noticing it, then you start getting access into that 95% of your brain or your mind,
Mm-hmm.
which is your subconscious mind. And you start to understand, hey, why do I do certain things? Why do I get irritated by this? Why do I get like react like this
Mm-hmm.
to this situation? All of that. And once you start to understand it, then you can start to change your behavior, and you can say, hey, you know life is not happening to me, life is happening
For
for
me.
me.
For me.
And so
Yes,
that
sir.
I can,
Preach to it,
how
man.
can
Preach
I,
on.
yeah, so
Yeah.
how can I leverage what is happening for me, and I can convert it into a win for me
Mm-hmm.
rather than a loss for me. So uh, you could pick up any meditation app. You could stay quiet, go to a Buddhist monastery. There are hundreds of ways to meditate. There is no single way, but
Mm-hmm.
just start doing it, and you'll start to see a lot of benefit out of that very, very soon.
Right. So how were you able to make your kind of your revitalization your next move then? Because you just said it. I didn't even know this, but you were to the point where you were suicidal. You were to the point where you wanted to take, I mean, that's a serious thing. That's a lot of serious things that you're going through. But eventually you found meditation, and what happened after that? How were you able to revitalize your thoughts and say, look, I am worth living. I am somebody. I do belong here. There's certain things that I'm meant to do here, and I will be foolish to take my own life. When did you get to
Yeah.
that confidence, and build that?
See, well, I mean, as soon as I had suicidal thoughts, I knew that I was going on a wrong path. I mean, obviously, I had kids, and I had, a family, and I had a professional life, people depending upon me. So I knew that I was going down the wrong path right away, and I
Yeah,
needed help. I needed to figure out how to fix myself. That's
yeah.
for sure. Now, until I did get some help, I was going deeper into it. Like I was getting more depressed. But you
Mm-hmm.
know, just like you have we all have an inner voice, right? When you
Yeah,
start, that inner voice tells you, okay, this is the right path.
right.
So it was just a matter of finding the right solution. And after trying, again, when you're like sinking, you try everything. You talk to everybody. You talk to, like, I even talk to people, like, who could tell the future, and
Mm-hmm.
they read your palms and what. So you try
Psychic.
everything, right? But then you don't feel any relief. But when I started meditating, like within a week or so, I started looking inside me, and I said, hey, I've been looking for solutions outside, and I've been
Yeah.
blaming people for my problems outside. But when I look inside, I see this is how I'm creating my own problems. This is why
Uh,
this is happening to me.
right.
So the solution is not outside, the solution is inside.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that happens, and you get there, and I want to make this very clear for you listeners. This is not a one-time thing. This is a process. This is an every single day process, to the point where, like you said, it becomes your subconscious mind. It becomes your subconscious behavior. You get a rejection, it's almost in your subconscious mind. Like, okay, I'm motivated. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to move on. It becomes something that you have to become. You cannot just do it once and expect to see results, right? Obviously, you're one of the individuals who didn't just do it once. You built up a massive platform. You have a lot of great things, and you threw out some stats about your podcast that I didn't even know about. I mean, you're doing some absolutely incredible work. Walk us through that time where you found meditation to where now you have this massive platform, and you're just absolutely doing your thing, man. Kind of walk us
Yeah,
through.
I mean, it's, as you said, it's a long process. In my opinion, uh, it's a lifelong process, because there is no depth to your. A human being is a very complex structure. And once you start getting deeper and deeper and deeper, you will find uh, there is no bottom. Like, there is no end to it. Like, you could reach a state of like a Buddha, Jesus Christ, and all these great people. They were one with the universe, right? So you
Yeah,
could pursue meditation until you reach that kind of state, right?
got it.
Now, as you go through, when you hit rock bottom, it's not like you you find meditation in a week like you are like flying high. No.
Yeah.
It's a journey from rock bottom to, little bit by little bit. Okay,
Yes, it is.
now
Yes,
life is getting
it
a
is.
little
Right.
bit better. And then again, until around 2018, it was just like, okay, life is now getting better. It's kind of stable.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know. I mean, I was, my days were just working with computers, like software engineering and building programs and whatnot. So it wasn't like I was a well-known personality or anything like that.
Right.
I didn't have like a lot of clients. It was just basically just, a couple of clients through word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2018, my mom passed away, and that really shook me
Yeah.
internally. I was like, okay, because I didn't have a good relationship with her, and I thought, okay, once I achieve something, I'll go back and I will make some amends and I will improve my relationship. But it didn't happen, and
Mm.
that made me realize how our life is short, so short, and anything can happen at any time.
Wow.
And so that gave me a real push to change the trajectory of my life and take more control of my life. I said, okay, I want to travel more. I want to go visit my family. I want to, impact more people. Now it became almost like a mission for me.
Mm-hmm.
And in one of my meditations, it actually happened to me. I got a message that I'm going to help 20 people win the Nobel Prize. So I was like, wow, this is like crazy. So even I thought I was going crazy. Some other people thought I was going crazy. But as I leaned into it, as I learned, okay, how our human psychology works, how neuroscience works,
Mm-hmm.
how artificial intelligence works, when I put all this together, it is feasible to impact millions of people and get them out of their shells and get their message heard. So
Mm-hmm.
I started to build my platform using these techniques. And then I started helping other people build their platform using these techniques. And it is all in the pursuit of, utilizing eh, all the all the pain that I went through,
Mm-hmm.
the lessons I learned, and package it into something that is meaningful, that is impactful for anybody else who wants to walk that path.
So what made well, first of all, thank you for being transparent and open, and my condolences with your mother. I know that's a very, very challenging thing to go through, especially seeing that you still had things to say, and then to take the
Yeah.
approach of, look, I'm gonna honor her. I'm gonna honor what she's doing. I'm sure she's looking down on you, proud as can be of her baby boy. That's I have to
Mm.
just say that. All right.
Mm.
And the question I do have though is when you say you package all the technology and you build platforms, what makes your approach unique? Because I'll be 100% honest with you, Matt. Every time I hear technology, I get intimidated. I don't know. I'm just willing to pay somebody. I'm like, look, you do the tech stuff. Let me do the speaking, the recording, the performing. But when it comes to the tech, I will pay some because I'm intimidated by it. I don't know where it works. And with somebody like you, I don't know what to do.
Sure, sure,
Right.
sure.
So, please, what makes your stuff unique?
Yeah. So let's take the fear first out. Okay. So we are sitting in front of our webcams talking to each other. I bet I have no idea how the webcam works.
Mm-hmm.
When you drive your car and go to the grocery store, unless you are really into cars or you are very knowledgeable, none of us know actually how the car works, right? It just works. So we trust the technology works. Now when we talk about software or especially around AI, there is a lot of fear because in Hollywood movies they have depicted Terminator and Skynet and whatnot. So
Mm-hmm.
we associate AI with another intelligent species who is out there to get us.
Hmm.
But if we notice that AI is nothing new, it has been around since 1970s. And if you are carrying a smartphone in your pocket, you are already using AI.
Mm-hmm.
If you have ordered something from Amazon, you have already used AI. If you have if you are on Facebook or LinkedIn, you are already using AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the world around us is already controlled by AI. Now, in 2022, when ChatGPT came along, what happened was everyday person got access to AI, and now everybody can use it. So the idea behind packaging all this is fundamentally our world is based on uh, human relationships. Okay.
Yes. Agreed.
So anything that we get in our life is given to us by somebody else. Every dollar, every cent, everything is given to us by somebody else. Even our life is given to us by our parents. Correct?
Yes.
Now, when somebody decides to give something to us, before that happens, there is a relationship or bond that is formed. Yes?
Yeah.
And in order to create that bond or relationship, you need to have a conversation with that person. Now we are having this conversation and we are building a relationship, right?
Right.
Now, going back to my previous comment, we teach our kids how to do complex mathematics and science and whatnot, but we never teach our kids how to communicate.
Right.
Right. So now, if I add AI into the mix, I can turn any person into a great communicator. Right? What is a communication? Communication is asking really good questions and telling really good stories.
Right.
That's the basis of a good conversation. So if I put all this together with AI, I can turn you into a great communicator because you'll be able to ask great questions, which you are already asking. You will be able to tell great stories, which you are already telling.
Right.
But a lot of other people cannot do that, right? But
Right.
even you can become much, much better at it if you
Right.
start using technologies like AI.
You,
And that turns you into a machine, a relationship machine. You can build relationships on scale with anybody in the world.
right.
And now you become this superhuman who can achieve anything in life because you have so many people around you supporting you. Does that
Right.
make sense?
Yeah, so but it makes sense with the way you're saying it, but the question now is like, how do you fight against the people who use it the wrong way? Because myself as a creator, I want to write my own articles. I want to be the one writing and doing the work because I'm a creator and this is what I do. And I hear, some sort of artificial intelligence is going to be writing my books for me and doing all that stuff. I'm like, hold up now, this is my thing. And you get people who may just use, like, I'll give you an example. There was a situation last year where I teach at a school and they were to do a graduation. And instead of the teacher actually writing a speech, she just said, well, I'm going to just chat GPT something real quick and just spit it off to the parents. So it's like, is it really authentic? How do you manage the people that
Sure.
use it in
So
a
let's add more detail to that, right?
right?
So written language was invented about 3,500 years ago or so, right?
Yeah.
Now, at that time, only few people knew how to read and write. So the people who used to write, they were the knowledge, like they held the knowledge within themselves. So they were promoted to high priest, kings, queens, whatnot, right? Then the printing press came along, and people said, "Hey, how's this going to work? Like, we have the knowledge, and you are just going to like you share it with the masses. Like, what's going on here, right?"
Right.
So everybody got freaked out. But the idea is the knowledge is for everyone. We can share it.
Right.
Then came the internet, the computer. Now when you write your article, originally you used to have to get some sort of a skin of animal or a leaf and some natural ink to write,
Yeah. Yeah. The little
right?
ink pens. Right.
Exactly. Then now you got modern pens to write. Now nobody writes with pen and paper, they write it on a computer. So it's a tool that we use to express our thoughts,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, AI is yet another tool that we can use to express our thoughts. But if they, as you said, if they are not our thoughts, it's not actually going to connect with anyone.
Very true. Yeah.
All right. So I can take I can take a printing press and I can write a gobbledygook book on it, and I can say, okay, print out 100,000 copies. How many do you think will sell?
Very
Maybe 10,
yeah.
maybe 10.
Once they read it and they realize, hey, this isn't him,
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then the reviews go bad. Right. Okay,
Exactly.
I think.
So if you understand technology is a tool
Mhm.
and you can use that tool, but if there is no humanness in it, there is no human touch in it, there is no, like, your essence in it, it's
Right.
not going to serve anybody. Most of it, so yes, you can write a speech, if you're, but I always recommend use it in a way that reflects it, your tone, your voice, your vocabulary, all of that stuff. And then it will become very, very effective.
Yeah, because and I've just started using maybe Chat GPT maybe a few months ago, and it's only to do maybe the headlines because I have such long headlines on my articles. I'll say, hey, Chat GPT, a quicker way to say X, Y, and Z, and then they spits out a quicker way, and that makes a headline. But the article is still me. The little things are still me. And when they read that headline, they go, oh, yeah, that's something Aswan would say. And I'm now getting hip to it, and just playing with it a little bit is very important for you guys to understand as well. It's not
Yeah.
going to solve all your problems. The only thing is, like you said, it's going to make it so you're able to build relationships better, be able to communicate better, and you won't have so much of a burden. But don't think it's just going to solve all your problems, which is
Correct,
what
correct.
we tend to do when we see new technology. So it's
Yeah,
important that we make that very, very clear. And one of the things that I was listening to you earlier, you have a situation where you was recognized by I believe it was our former president, Mr. President Barack Obama, because, and you can explain this a little better than me, but there was a situation in which you were able to use AI to keep kids in school, to keep
correct.
kids in a situation where they're doing something productive. And I'm like, please, just take the mic and talk me through this because I have yet, of all the stuff I hear, I've yet to hear that connection between a kid staying in school because of AI and it's because of something you use. So, go ahead
Yeah,
and
yeah.
away when it comes to that.
See, it's a simple thing. 30% of the students drop out of their degree programs, and this is higher education, by the way.
Yeah.
So degree programs in the first 2 years, and the reason is because we know that all these kids are under huge pressure, like tuition fees and loans for their tuition fee,
Mm-hmm.
and moreover, the career counselors they go to. I mean, most people. I mean, I'm not blaming anybody here, but most people, when they recommend which direction these kids should go in, they don't really have an idea what the kid likes. They
Mm-hmm.
only think about what they think is rational for that kid,
Right.
or where the job market is going to be. So they say, oh, you should go into medicine, or you should go into like engineering, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Key is that most people may not have interest in that, or they may find it very, very difficult to do these courses. And so what happens is they get demoralized in the first couple of years. They find it too difficult or boring, and then they drop out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we did was we said, okay, there's a better way to do this. So we collected data from hundreds of thousands of students, their school transcripts, SAT scores, their extracurricular activities. So we came up with a model to understand what kind of student likes what kind of courses, and in what courses they excel at, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's very much similar to when you watch Netflix. It will know what kind of shows you like, and it'll start recommending those shows to you. So
Yeah.
similarly, we study the behavior of students, and as they are enrolling into a degree program, we say, okay, based on your past data, you should take these courses. And now, since it's
Yeah.
based on data, it's much more accurate. And the impact was, students stayed in their
Mm-hmm.
degree programs. In fact, 20 I think statistically, the students took 20% more courses than were required to finish their degree program.
Exactly. 1,000 times exactly. And I'm speaking from the perspective of an educator, someone that has gone to many different any type of school that you can think of. I've been there. I've been a part of so many different types of schools. And my biggest gripe with the college system, with the school system, is that they give you so many different options that you don't actually know which one you want. So you end up going there, you're paying your tuition, you're there, and you're just there to be there. You have no intention on figuring out exactly what it is you want to do. And if you say, let's say you want to be a writer, or writers don't make no money. Well, hey, how do I know what I'm going to write about? You know, there's so many things, so many loopholes in the system that, you know, people like you are able to fill with AI. And, you know, that is a very, very important thing, because the more and more that comes out, the more lost kids that are coming out after graduation, all that kind of stuff. If it's used correctly, we can save a lot of people and just save an entire education system that, frankly, has failed the kids on so many levels. You know, Manuj. So it is very important. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Is there a way to that you are leveraging that? You know, kind of talk about what's next and how people can get in touch with you. And where do you see things going in the future when it comes to all the work you're doing?
Well, I mean, it's going to revolutionize every industry, every aspect of life, every
Right.
aspect of how we play, how we work, all of that. So, and the key is, not a lot of people really understand this technology, how to harness it, how to create value from it, how to prosper from it, how to,
Mm-hmm.
make money out of it, and do things that really improve people's lives. So
Yeah.
my goal is to, keep doing projects like this,
Right.
helping businesses, really understand where this technology can make a difference in their business,
Right.
where, like, even on a personal level, how people can use it to, grow themselves internally. Like a lot of people don't want to meditate, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So we create technologies using AI, which actually helps you to reach that meditative state just
Yeah.
using technology. So the idea is to just keep transforming the world in as many ways as possible with this technology. And in terms of reaching out to me, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Google my name. I'm easy to find.
Yeah. I mean, us,
Website.
we have unique names. You're not going to meet another Majuv or as one Crookshank, so it's not going to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You were saying something?
No, yeah. So I have a website, manujaggarwal.com. Yeah. And my company website is tetranoodle.com. So
Mhm.
if you guys own a business who want to implement AI, you can come through my business website. If you want to work with me privately, you can reach out to me through LinkedIn or my website. But the key is, like, AI is going to generate trillions and trillions of dollars in the next decade. There's going
Right.
to be more billionaires made in the next decade than any time in history because of AI.
Yeah.
So my desire is that I help as many people take advantage of this opportunity and change their lives, their families' lives,
Mhm.
their communities' lives. It's just a powerful thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Manuj, so the way I close out all the shows is I want you to use your imagination a little bit. You just moved here from India. You are struggling. You are back and you're dealing with the breakup. You're struggling trying to see a kid. You're that guy that's trying to figure out. I want you to pretend that that young person has come into the Zoom room. And I want you now to talk to that young person, give him some words of encouragement, and we'll officially close with that.
Yeah, I mean, I always say, just follow your heart and life will take care of you. Everything will be fine. Universe got your back, and just keep listening to your heart and follow your heart.
Amen to that, man. Keep listening to your heart. All right, this has been incredible. I'm excited to go back and listen to this. I'll have a whole notepad ready, just making sure I've jotted everything down, because I will say this, you have changed my perception on AI and how to use it. And I've never heard someone talk about it as a way of building relationships and becoming actually something that helps you build relationships, as opposed to the opposite, where you're staying stuck behind some technology or something like that. So appreciate the work you're doing, man. Keep it up. Keep doing some great things, man.
Thank you, and you have such a positive energy. So I really want to recognize that. It's been a really good conversation because your energy is just coming through the screen.
Man, thank you, thank you. I've been doing this for a long time, so I definitely appreciate that. All right, fellow teammates, continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.